Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
Coming up on the October 24th edition of Carolina Week.
I'm Sierra Moore, and coming up, I'll tell you why air from this vent is now safe to breathe.
Flu season is here. We'll tell you how you can prepare for it. In sports, we'll introduce you to a football player who can't wait to get off the sidelines. We had some much-needed rain today. Laura Pagano will be here to tell us if we'll see more.
All that and a trip down to the Low Country. Carolina Week starts right now.
From the James F. Goodman Studio in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, connecting campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
Hello and welcome to the Wednesday edition of Carolina Week. I'm Sarah Huffman.
And I'm Adam Rue. Thank you for joining us. Finally, the Chapel Hill area is getting a little bit of much-needed rain. Umbrellas and rain boots are two things most UNC students haven't had to worry about this semester. But even though any amount of rain is well received, today's weather hasn't eliminated North Carolina's drought status by a long shot. Chapel Hill received only about a half inch of rain through Wednesday afternoon, and some areas of North Carolina are still completely dry. But the National Weather Service predicts as much as 3 to 4 inches of rain between now and the weekend. In just a few minutes, weathercaster Laura Pagano will have much more about the possibility of additional rainfall. Is UNC watering the grass in the midst of a drought? The turf at field hockey's Henry Stadium is wet, even with Stage 2 drought restrictions in place. That's because the International Hockey Federation requires college teams to saturate synthetic turf before each practice and game to reduce injuries. Despite the requirement, the athletics department still plans to reduce water consumption for fields by 75%. Assistant Athletics Director Willie Scroggs says they keep the ground wet for player safety.
People can't understand why we do it. We still maintain we do that for a safety factor. We feel like the field being wet is a safer surface for the kids to play on. Don't have as many injuries, balls don't bounce up as badly.
Scroggs says they've been able to conserve more by using reclaimed water on Fetzer and Hooker fields.
As of January 1st, 2008, UNC officials will extend the university's no smoking policy to all outdoor areas within 100 feet of university facilities. University officials won't designate smoking areas in an attempt to make the campus smoke-free, so no one at Carolina will have to breathe in secondhand smoke. Many students and faculty don't want to breathe in hazardous residue either. Last week we told you about health concerns related to asbestos removal at Venable Hall. Sierra Moore has this follow-up.
The noise is still a nuisance, but the likelihood of inhaling hazardous material from construction might not be as big a concern as it was a week ago. One of the major concerns is that dust and microscopic particles could get into the heating and air conditioning systems. The facilities department and major demolition and construction contractors met recently and discussed ways to make sure this doesn't happen. Journalism professor Tom Linden says people with concerns have to express them.
The important thing, I think, is that we take every step possible to ensure that air free of dust and microscopic particles is brought into the air conditioning heating system.
One of those steps is making sure that air vents, like this one, don't bring in dust and particles from construction because of their location. Interim Director for UNC's Environment, Health and Safety Department, Ray Hackney, says it requires that control measures be implemented. Hackney says these measures include physical barriers between occupants and construction work, and in certain situations, use of high-efficiency filtration to capture airborne materials generated in the work areas. All the air that passes through Carroll Hall goes through this vent. Hackney says the air is safe to breathe, and it should stay that way.
I was very pleased that this temporary duct went up so fast. We had the meeting last Thursday. The duct was up when I came to Carroll Hall on Monday.
Demolition of Venable Hall begins on November 12th, and with these new safety measures in play, maybe noise will be the only thing students and faculty have to deal with. In Chapel Hill, I'm Sierra Moore, Carolina Week.
Officials were quick to address health concerns, but with 44 active construction projects going on across campus, expect to be inconvenienced for quite a while. If you're going to vote this year, you don't have to wait until November 6th. Now you can go to the Chapel Hill Post Office on Franklin Street to cast your ballots early. This is a new location for one-stop, no-excuse voting, which started Monday. The program allows any North Carolina resident to register and vote early at the same location. The polls will remain open on weekdays from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. until November 2nd, and on Saturday, November 3rd from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
State officials confirmed this year's first case of the flu virus in western North Carolina last week. Our Johnny O is live at the Flu Shot Clinic in Cobb Residence Hall through our Carolina Week netcam. And Johnny, what's different about the flu this year, and what can we do to protect ourselves?
Adam, the flu mutates every year and causes thousands of people to become sick. Now, the best way to protect yourself against the flu virus is to first learn about the virus itself and ways to defend against it.
Getting sick is a nuisance, or much worse. And students who've heard about the flu say they don't want to get it.
It's something that I'm paranoid about that I might have every year.
I was extremely tired. I had a very bad headache.
My mentor teachers that I work with have said that, when they get the flu, they're basically completely incapacitated.
The flu is a virus that attacks your nose, mouth, lungs, and throat, making your life instantly miserable. Every year, 200,000 people in the U.S. are hospitalized because of the flu, and 36,000 people die from it. Chief of Duke's Division of Pediatric Medicine, Dr. Dennis Clements, says people aren't taking the proper precautions to avoid getting the flu.
By January, people just become complacent. They may have already been sick, not with the flu, but with something, and so they think they've had the flu, and they just don't go in to get the flu shot because they think they've already had it.
Clements says the best way to protect yourself is to get the flu vaccine every year.
One thing for people to understand is often 2 or 3 influenza viruses can be circulating the same year, and they don't all necessarily circulate at the same time.
Starting today, Carolina students can get their flu shots provided by Campus Health Services. The shot costs $20. Carol Cozell encourages students to get their vaccinations as soon as possible.
Ideally, you'd like to get the flu vaccine in and administered before you actually have flu on your campus area. It takes about 2 weeks for the antibodies to start kicking in.
Cozell adds that students can also do other things to protect themselves and others.
Execute as far as good respiratory hygiene. You have the sniffles, you've got a cough, use a tissue, cough into the corner of your arm. Wash your hands afterwards so that you're not spreading infections.
That was our Johnny O reporting. Dozens of area athletes will be looking for Olympic gold next year.
But one already found it.
I'm Katie Miller. I'll tell you about the Chapel Hill resident who won these.
Let's talk about dying. Everybody's got to do it, but nobody wants to talk about it. So talking about organ donation is even harder, especially with your family. Because to talk about that, you got to admit you're going to die, and that's hard. Maybe people think if they don't talk about it, it won't happen. You know what? That's exactly what happens with organ donation. If you don't talk to your family about it, it won't happen. Yeah, it's kind of creepy, maybe weird, but you get to give the biggest gift in the whole world, life. So this is what I think. Organ donation is not about dying. It's about living. Talk to your family about living. Talk to your family about donating life.
Today, UNC students got the chance to experience the effects of drunk driving without the alcohol. The Save a Life Tour set up its drunk driving simulator in the Student Union this morning. The simulator looks just like the inside of a real car with 3 TV screens showing the surroundings outside the car. The driver experiences delayed reaction times and tunnel vision, 2 of the main causes of drunk driving accidents. Representatives from a Save a Life program hope the simulation of driving while impaired will keep students from getting behind the wheel after hitting the bars.
About 98 cents of every North Carolina tax dollar comes back to the people of the Tar Heel State. The Census Bureau has released its report about the federal government's annual tax spending in 2005. The system worked best for people in New Mexico. They received $3.10 for every tax dollar they sent to Washington. Delaware fared the worst, receiving only 42 cents for every buck paid by its people. In all, more than 30 states received more from the federal government than they paid in federal taxes. We know what students spend a lot of money on: college costs. Tuition and fees at four-year public universities increased an average of 6.6% this year. With the price of college rising, students are forced into taking out more student loans from banks and private lenders. Last year, undergraduate private borrowing grew 12%, up to $1.5 billion, and that will burn a hole in your wallet.
The gold dollar coin has a whole new look this year. George Washington's face is now on the front, but the image isn't the only thing that changed. "In God We Trust" is no longer written on the face of the coin. It's on the side, along with E Pluribus Unum. The new look is causing a bit of an uproar among conservatives. Presidential candidate Mitt Romney is even promising to restore the words to their original place. Student Sophie Solomon thinks there needs to be a more concrete answer to the problem.
I think that it would have been best for them to either make a complete decision to either completely remove it or leave it on. And so the way that they did it seems kind of like a really bad compromise.
The new coin is only a little larger than a quarter. It takes the place of the Sacagawea dollar, and government officials hope the new coin will be more popular. A new website with an unusual name is getting a lot of hits and a lot of converts. Zamzar.com is a free website dedicated to all types of file conversion. Users don't have to download software onto their computers. Instead, the website uploads document, image, music, or video files and then offers conversion options. The website even allows conversion of YouTube videos using the video's URL address. The website emails users a link to the converted file, which Zamzar stores for 24 hours. Then, all you have to do is download the file to your computer.
If you're trying to slim down to fit into that cool Halloween costume, a new breakfast option might not be the solution. Hardee's recently introduced its new Country Breakfast Burrito. For less than $3, you can buy the burrito, which has a whopping 920 calories and 60 grams of fat. That's about half of the recommended calories for a day and a full day's worth of fat. Pharmaceutical manager Garrett Knoll thinks people will buy it even though they realize it's not a healthy option.
It's probably not the best thing. And after seeing something like that, I wish we sold a cholesterol medication, because we could probably do better in our business with something like that going down their throat.
Nutritionists say the average person needs about 1,600 to 2,800 calories a day, depending on age and activity level.
Kerry Hagner returned from the Special Olympics in China with the best possible souvenir, a gold medal. Reporter Katie Miller has her story.
Chapel Hill resident Kerry Hagner started riding a bike 10 years ago. Last year, officials chose her to represent North Carolina and the United States as a cyclist in the Special Olympics in China.
A few weeks ago, Kerry won these two medals while competing in her cycling competitions.
Her father helped Kerry train before she traveled to Shanghai.
Being a coach and a dad is challenging. Just like from Kerry's perspective, having a coach that's a dad's challenging, but she's great.
While in China, Kerry experienced a culture she found different from that of Chapel Hill. She also rode her bike with determination, focus, and heart.
Thinking about my family, and my grandfather and my grandparents who passed away, and helped me motivate me to go faster, and it is because of them I got the gold.
She won the silver medal for the 1K race and the gold medal for the 5K race.
I was thinking I did it, and all my friends cheering for me, my parents were there cheering.
To see her up there and to see her so happy and so proud of herself and feeling so good about accomplishing this, it just, as a mother, it was joyful.
Kerry's accomplishment took more than just dedication. It took hard work, perseverance, and love. In Chapel Hill, I'm Katie Miller, Carolina Week.
Kerry plans to compete in the state games as a cyclist and continue with her involvement in North Carolina's Special Olympic program.
And we're joined now by weathercaster Laura Pagano.
Well, Laura, we finally got some rain.
And that's true. It was refreshing to see some of the wonderful wet stuff. Stepping through puddles and walking under cloudy skies is my idea of fun. Will we see more rain? I'll have your forecast next.
There's been so many things that's held us down, but now it looks like things are finally coming around. No stopping, no stopping, no stopping, no stopping, no stopping, no stopping, no stopping.
One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 little piggies ready to play. The big pig is Pedro. Pedro Piggy. He's the big piggy.
Everyday moments can become teaching moments because learning starts long before school does. Give your child the start they need at bornlearning.org.
Hi, and welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm weather forecaster Laura Pagano. Well, the first thing I'm going to say is yay for rain. Finally, it has arrived, and maybe it will help us out with the drought condition in the long run. Also, falling temperatures. For those of you who are suffering through the humidity and very high temperatures, you're going to be seeing that these temperatures are going to be dropping dramatically, and maybe a sunny weekend ahead. I'll let you know. But let's first take a look at the U.S. satellite image. And wow, we have an area of disturbance that's really taken an impact for areas in the south and even towards the north. We're seeing that this band is going to be moving off towards the east, but very slowly. And if we look closer toward our region, we'll see that the showers and thunderstorms are really having an impact even for areas east of us. So this precipitation is just going to be making its way towards the north and east, but it is going to be doing so very slowly. And when I zoom out towards the surface map, I'll explain why. We have this area of low pressure, and as it moves slowly towards the east, we're going to be seeing the jet push this part off a lot faster, but the jet isn't going to be affecting the southeast, so it's not going to be able to move this low pressure system very far and very fast, meaning we're going to have a lot of precipitation helping us with the drought over the next couple of days. So as we watch the system move, on Thursday it's still sitting in our vicinity, and towards Friday we'll still be seeing that area, but when we look towards the west, it is dry, and we have a lot of fire out towards the LA region as we have those wildfires taking an impact. But as this front moves towards the south, we're going to be seeing winds that are going to be more favorable to really reduce the effects of these fires in our area, meaning that the wildfires are going to be reducing, which is good for the LA region. But heading more toward our area, if you're moving, going to be taking off towards the mountains, we're going to be seeing a chance of precipitation for your Saturday. But for Sunday, it is going to be absolutely beautiful. And look at those temperatures hovering right around 65 degrees. And if you're heading I-40 east towards the beach, you're going to be seeing a chance of showers and thunderstorms for your weekend. But temperatures are going to be decreasing as well. But for those of you who are going to be staying in the Raleigh-Durham area, well, we do have precipitation all through the week, but a great weekend ahead. But the drought condition is going to be, I think, improving over the next couple of days at least with that substantial rainfall.
Well, that is excellent news for North Carolina citizens. Maybe the water restrictions will lessen up a bit the more rain we get.
Yes.
Definitely great news, Laura. Thank you. Looking to take a load off your feet but still have somewhere you need to go? Tomorrow you can relax in this B-Mobile for a ride. It picked up students outside Memorial Hall today and took them to their destination for free. While enjoying your ride, you can catch a quick preview of Jerry Seinfeld's new animated film, B-Movie. Because Chase Bank sponsors the rides, your biker will make sure to tell you about the new credit card aimed at college students. The rides buzz off campus tomorrow after 3, so make sure you catch one while you can.
And we're joined now by sportscaster Sarah Moore.
And Sarah, the season is finally starting to wind down for a lot of the fall sports athletes.
It is definitely crunch time for a lot of these sports. Coming up in sports, with only 4 games until the postseason, the men's soccer team is looking good.
Come on. And it's a block. What? What kind of kick was that? You've got to be kidding me. Hey, hot shot. Sounds like you know a lot about the game.
You should put that to use. Come on, let's go take a jog.
There are plenty of ways that you can volunteer in your community.
Just figure out what you like to do and pass it on to others.
And you know what? You can have a lot of fun doing it, too.
Pick those knees up. Keep going. Pick those legs up. Let's go.
All right now, show them how to kick that ball.
To find out ways you can volunteer in your community, log on to teensvolunteer.org.
Okay, Ben, here we go, buddy. That was great, Ben. This time, just try to kick the ball.
Do what you like to do. Volunteer.
Welcome to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Sarah Moore. The high-impact nature of football makes for great entertainment, but it also has the potential to end a player's season in a flash. Jay Spence brings you a first-hand look at Chase Rice's road back to the field.
It was a James Madison game, and the quarterback scrambled, and Darrell hit him high, and he was on his way down, and I tried to hit him up on his helmet, tried to take him down, and he went across my body twisted, my ankle stayed in the ground, and as soon as it happened, I knew I was in trouble. So, oh my God, I don't know. It was one of the worst feelings I've ever felt, because first thing you think is all this work that I've done is paying off none.
Because anytime someone gets injured, there's a stages psychologically that a player goes through. Initially there's some anger, there's some denial, and eventually they get to an acceptance level.
But then you look at it, you got to look at the positives too. I could get another year out of it. If I don't, then at least next year I'll be a lot bigger.
But one of the main things we can do is keep them in a regular routine, making sure the player goes to meeting, that he comes to practice, that he stays mentally engaged in everything that's going on. And that helps them to overcome some of that separation that they're feeling from the team.
So I work out 4 days a week, which really helps me because I at least feel good about myself that I'm doing something. And then I've talked to Coach Pagano lately. I've been breaking down some film and stuff, so that makes me actually feel like I'm helping out the team, because that's the worst feeling, is that you can't help out the team anymore. I've set some new goals for myself. I had goals, you want to play well, you want to be an All-American, All-ACC. Obviously that's not going to happen now, but just trying to get back for next year. That's my one goal, is next year, whatever date our first game is. I cannot wait for that.
As an athletic trainer, that's really why we're in this job. It's to take a guy who more or less is at his probably worst moment professionally, when a season's ended or he's faced with a severe injury, and to take him from that day all the way through the months, the tough days of coming in early and doing rehab, to finally see him back on the field and make a play. That's why we're in this business.
The torn ligaments in Rice's left ankle are healing, and he's expected to make a full recovery. Heading into its last regular season game of the year, the field hockey team is still undefeated. Carolina is the only NCAA Division I team that's undefeated. The Heels' impressive record is a stellar 17-0 with 11 shutouts. But who's counting? The Heels will try to wrap up a perfect regular season Saturday at Old Dominion. Coming off a tough loss to Virginia Tech this weekend, the men's soccer team took on the High Point Panthers last night at Fetzer Field. In the 25th minute, Bill Dworsky feeds the ball up the middle to Brian Shriver, where he fires a shot from beyond the box, and the High Point goalie is frozen. With only a minute and a half left in the first, Eddie Ababio tries to fake out the defender. He'll lay the ball off to Gary Lewis, who bends it right past into the upper 90, past the keeper. After a penalty kick by Ababio in the 61st minute, Johan Carvajal attacks down the middle, where he blasts one off the near post, making the score 4-0. Carvajal says it feels good to finally score one as a Tar Heel.
I just released a shot, and it went in. It was on frame, hit the post, went in. Feels good. It was first goal of the season, so first goal since I've been a transfer here.
The 7th-ranked women's soccer team will look to continue its winning ways tomorrow night at Fetzer Field. UNC will host rival NC State at 7 p.m. to begin its final homestand of the year. The Heels are 36-1-2 all-time against the Wolfpack. UNC is looking to build on its season-high 6-game win streak. Sophomore Casey Nogueira leads the team with 9 goals. The Heels are currently 13-3. Last week, we told you about Chip Peterson, a Carolina swimmer with Olympic potential. On Saturday, the UNC sophomore got one step closer to becoming Beijing-bound. He finished second in the National 10K Open Water Olympic Trials meet. In April, Peterson will compete in the International 10K Open Water Meet, and the top 10 swimmers from that event will advance on to the Olympics. Well, Adam, I hear that you used to be a swimmer back in high school.
Well, and I can tell you that it takes a whole lot of talent. It's not really comparable with running that same distance because it involves so much more physical strength and a lot more muscles. So it's really great that he's able to do that.
Definitely.
Thank you, Sarah. I know a lot of people who went to all sorts of places over fall break.
Coming up, see what some of them learned walking down the streets of an old southern city.
My name's Brandon. I'm 9 years old, being alcoholic.
Hi, Brandon.
I'll start drinking with the older kids. And whatever they do, I'll do.
Kids who drink before age 15 are 5 times more likely to have alcohol problems when they're adults. So start talking before they start drinking.
I know it'll start with alcohol. I'm just not sure how it's gonna end.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
How'd you get them?
Shooting windows out with my BB gun. Next day, these showed up.
I think it's bad karma. You gotta do something good. How about in the community? Donate to charity.
Stay on the universe's good side. Volunteer, vote, get involved.
Mrs. Russo. Hi, Bev. Hi.
If only child abuse were this easy to recognize. If you even suspect abuse, call us. Trust your instincts.
The air conditioner and the lawnmower. Both are ideas from the minds of African Americans. Support the United Negro College Fund because a mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Next trip to the store, look for products made from recycled materials, then buy them.
Call 1-800-2-RECYCLE for your free Buy Recycled shopping guide.
UNC students are back from fall break. Reporter Rebecca McAtee shows us what some Carolina students learned about Charleston's historic marketplace while they were gone.
Charleston, South Carolina is a city rich with history. Today, horse-drawn carriages still drive along the streets just as they did in centuries past. King Street offers some of the best shopping in the Southeast, and that includes the historic market. The market is famous for its wide selection of pottery, unique handbags, home decorations, garden decor, fine china, and traditional woven baskets. The city has operated the market for 200 years.
I'm here at the market in downtown Charleston where I'm told by some vendors that the market is going to be changing management very soon. We can expect to see some changes, but we're not quite sure what these changes will be.
One Charleston painter hopes the dynamic of the market is one thing that never changes.
This is where I make my money. I've been here since 1976. And I'm just an old Charlestonian, and this is where I feel like I should be.
This is where UNC seniors Brooke Bittler and Katie Butler thought they should be during the break.
I love coming to Charleston and I love the shopping. I especially like the market because you feel like you're in Charleston from the past.
I got this purse at the market, and I guess the thing I like most about the market is that you can find things that you wouldn't normally find in Chapel Hill, like woven baskets, unique jewelry, candles.
And the market is only one small part of Charleston's unique charm. In Charleston, South Carolina, I'm Rebecca McAtee, Carolina Week.
And that does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thank you so much for watching. Have a great night.